Hey there, this is going to be a fun lecture because we'll take an ordinary photo and transform it into something completely different. It's like all these cars have been miniaturized, and this is all a board game where everything is made out of plastic. Let me show you how you can obtain the same effect in only 5 to 10 minutes. Start with a vibrance adjustment layer because we want to increase the intensity of our colors. I'd say a vibrance of +10 and a saturation of +30 is going to be enough, but it's all going to depend on your image. Please note you have this photo attached as well as the PSD, so please work along. Okay, now let's convert it to a smart object because this effect relies on several filters. Go to the top menu system and click Filter. From the list, go to Noise, Reduce Noise. The goal here is to smooth out any harsh edges and details that are not seen in plastic toys. I've repeated this technique on several other images before I started this recording, and in most cases, Reduce Noise does a fantastic job. Here, the result won't be as dramatic, but it will still help us. Make sure you have the preview setting checked and increase the strength to its maximum value, 10. We don't want to preserve any details, so take this down to 0, and in this case, I'll also reduce the color noise to 0% as well. If you want to see what this does, focus on this red guy in the middle of the intersection. Notice that at 0% he's pretty sharp, while if we bring it up to 100%, his colors bleed away. Now for the Sharpen Details slider. Here's where you'll have to experiment based on what you see in your preview. In some cases, like here, I've set it at 0%, while other times I've cranked it up. Remember, it's a smart object, so these values are not set in stone. Let's move on to the next filter, which is going to be Median. This is hidden in the same filter menu in the noise category. We'll use it to soften everything up. This reduces the difference between pixels that are close together, and it kind of adds a glow effect if you use high enough values. We don't want to get crazy with it, so stick to a radius of 3 to 4 pixels. The next and final filter makes all the difference. It's called Tilt Shift, and you'll find it by going to Filter, Blur Gallery. Click it and you'll get the following workspace. This central region sets your focus point, so everything that's between these two lines will retain its sharpness. Inside it, you'll find a controller that adjusts the amount of blur you'll apply to your canvas. As you click and drag, you'll increase or decrease your values, though my advice is you use this slider on the top right side. This panel is much more user-friendly. As for these dotted lines, these set the transition point between the focal point and the out-of-focus area. Drag them closer in and you'll have more blur on the rest of the image, but this increases the miniaturization effect dramatically. Okay, let's set our value to something like 10 pixels. Hit OK and let's see our result. Right, this is looking lovely. It's as if these are all toy cars, and that's exactly what I was going for. But because this is a smart object, I'll double-click on Blur Gallery yet again, and I'll flip this effect around. So instead of using it horizontally, I'll go outside it, and I'll rotate it so we get the same effect on this diagonal line. It's great that we have the street to guide us. This time I'll also move these dotted lines further away from the center so you can see the transition a bit better. Once you're happy, hit OK yet again and take a look at our result. Enter full screen mode and see if there's anything else you can do to improve it. In essence, it's all about those filter values we put in. Here, I'm happy with it, but let me show you a quick way to reuse everything. I'll minimize Photoshop and I'll drag this image inside it. I'll adjust it so it'll better fit my canvas. Right, now this needs to be placed above our original layer, but underneath the adjustment one. Now hold Alt, click and drag from this smart filter listing. Release on top of the new photo, and like magic, you'll have the same settings applied to it. Here we could use a higher blur value, but you get the idea. Thus, you can use the attached PSD to quickly get this effect on all your photos without too much hassle. Have fun with it.